The binger knows that the hype is real for the next phase of Marvel films. After all, for the first time in forever, audiences didn't get a sneak peek of the action for an end credits scene after Endgame. Lucky for you, this video is dedicated to all the reports and content that are out on the internet that might provide us a map towards Galactus becoming the next big baddie. With no hints from Endgame to work off of, it appears that many theorists, including the binger, decided to take another look at the previous films for any hints at this overlord's rise to power. Galactus, a comic history. Every mythological film from Clash of the Titans to Thor likes to say that before the universe there was nothing. The narrator tells the viewer that life started with the Big Bang, and then the gods filled in the rest. Yeah, it turns out they're all liars. Okay, they're not all liars, just in the case of Marvel's universe and its history. See, it turns out things are trickier than that. There were universes that existed before the Big Bang. In those universes existed brilliant people with genius IQs. One of those people was named Galactus, and he lived on the planet Ta. Galactus foresaw the approaching collapsed star and warned his people about it. He and some others tried to escape the Big Crunch, as it's referred to now. Everyone died but him. Galactus bonded with the Sentients and is now known as Galactus. The Sentients is a powerful galactic force that gave this character a power boost. Yes, Galactus was intelligent beforehand, but he wasn't powerful enough to eat a planet. This mystic alien force known as the Sentients endued him with the abilities, but also gave him an unquenchable thirst for energy. Energy he can only get from consuming planets. Yep, that's the SparkNotes origin story for Galactus. We promise it's more complex than it sounds. The comics make it incredible, and the cinematic character would be equally appealing. However, if that wasn't your cup of tea, we have no fear that things will always be adjusted by the screenwriters. Regardless, it's important to understand the source material we're drawing from here. Without that base knowledge, a lot of the theories in this video make zero sense. So stay steady on course for a little bit. We need to construct a foundation for the House of Galactus for Phase 4 villain to settle into and reside. That means even more backstory. Buckle up, the binger is diving deep for this one. That one time we don't talk about. We're breaking the first rule of Marvel Fight Club. No, it's not don't talk about Marvel Fight Club. It's actually never speak of Galactus' appearance in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer ever again. Seriously, it's a big no-no among a lot of fans. Now, some of you watching might have even seen the Fantastic Four sequel. You're going over the plot points, thinking of all your, favorite moments. Heck, some of you even think you remember what scene Galactus appeared in, but you can't be sure. The rest of you blocked it out of your memories forever. The point is, the film treated Galactus as a secondary note to the Silver Surfer. He's so minimal in the film that many don't recognize the fact Galactus even shows up at all. At the end of the day, the movie left many fans wishing for a more true-to-character film appearance. Hence this video and all the theories out there on the internet. Everyone wants to replace this forgettable appearance with a new memory. For those of you not familiar, the writers of that film turned one of our favorite villains into a hungry cloud. Yes, a large, angry thing of comic vapor. It was so silly. We swear most people don't even remember that cloud monster was supposed to be Galactus. That's his big silver screen moment. They didn't even give the cloud any lines. He just floated down to Earth and started eating. It's a tragedy in the Marvel cinematic history. So as we go through these theories, keep that in mind. Some viewers might not like these ideas. However, keep it in perspective. None of them involve turning him into a giant storm cloud, so they're already better than the alternative. New Horizons in Phase 4. So, we've been through our Planet Eater's comic and cinematic history. Good for you, we're almost through the basic stuff. Now all we need to do is set the scene, because like any good story, it's all about giving the character a world to live in effectively. So what world are we trying to introduce this galactic force into? Well, for starters, this entry and the rest of the video include some Endgame spoilers, so yeah, keep that in mind. Endgame is a big part of what makes all these theories work. A lot of the ideas we're about to talk about involve the Infinity Stones and the way they were used. For those not aware, our heroes were left with a lot of decisions to make as the credits rolled. Basically, every Avenger is gone now in some way or another. Earth is missing a team of its mightiest heroes. Characters need to step up. In the meantime, villains are seeing a chance to pounce on the opportunity. The possibility for multiple parallel universes only complicates things further. The main players and heavy hitters are retiring or dying. It's time for fresh faces, and they'll be responsible for picking up the mess that the time heist left. This situation is what we're dumping Galactus into with all of these theories. Keep that in mind. The Big Bang Theory. We're gonna start strong with this mind-boggling theory relating to Galactus' origin story, so yes, we're talking about a Big Bang theory. It's not the one you're thinking of. No, it's not that one either. It's an idea specifically related to this character entering Phase 4. Specifically, we like the idea of Galactus trying to save his people from an approaching devastation. The attempt to save them changed his life and gave him an insatiable appetite for planetary energy. In order for him to feed, though, he needs to be awakened. Once he's up and moving, it's hard to miss the monumental threat. Here's the issue. If a planet destroyer, like Galactus, was beginning to eat people's homes, Captain Marvel would have heard about it at some point, right? She's been soaring around the cosmos taking care of planets as her day job. There is no way she would miss this big of a threat. So perhaps Galactus is just not waking up. In one version of this theory, the Big Bang origin still happens. Galactus does his best to prevent the destruction and fails. Then, he's knocked to sleep by the Force. However, the snapping done by Thanos ends up waking him from his slumber due to the cosmic energy it exerts. It's almost on the scale of the Big Bang. Another version makes the snap more complicated. Instead of just erasing half of the universe's population, the snap also creates that exact Big Bang event that Galactus tries to save his home from in his origin story. Somehow, the scientist on the planet Ta foresaw the snapping. Galactus is one of them and tries to flee from the Force. It catches up and wipes his crew and sends him off into a star that gives him the sentience power-up. Either way, the snap plays a big part in bringing the Big Bang memories back into Galactus' head in this theory. It would explain why we haven't seen him until this point. Change of heart theory. Alright, this one is super similar to the theory we just went over. It's definitely tied back into the snap and its relation to this villain's origin. It makes sense that the two would be tied together. Not even Thanos can predict the full consequences of his actions. He was destined to snap his fingers, but that didn't mean his action was thought all the way through to the endgame. For instance, he never saw time travel coming, so he probably didn't see this theory coming. It goes like this. Galactus is now embedded with his newfound powers. He isn't happy, he is mourning. However, he's also hungry. He discovers slowly that the energy of planets sustains him. He makes a rule though, no destroying inhabited planets. For some versions of this story, this is truly the case. Galactus is a reluctant planet devourer at first. The idea means he needs to change course at some point. He likely gets hungrier and hungrier as the decades go by slowly. One day he notices all those bustling planets only have half their population now. Suddenly, what seems like such a vile thing can be justified. The snap gives him a way to view life as a fickle part of the universe. Thanos changes Galactus' outlook and our star is born. Power levels and no stones. Okay, we're just gonna say it. Captain Marvel is super powerful. Like she's the Superman of the Marvel Universe. It's not a bad thing. All it means is the bar is set a little higher. No one takes a punch from Thanos without raising the stakes higher for the next phase. The writers need the threat level to increase now that they have this strong of a character running around the galaxy. On top of that, it's important to recall an aspect of the Infinity Gems that keeps going overlooked. The Mind Stone, Time Stone, and Power Stone all help stop important villains in some way or another. Where would these heroes be without the Infinity Stones? They'd be up a creek without a paddle. The stones are gone now. The power level increase is justified. If bad stuff enters the world when the stones aren't returned to their proper spot in the timeline, then the same logic applies here. Thanos destroyed these characters' best defense. It's time for forces like Galactus to capitalize and give Captain Marvel's power level a run for its money. He's the next logical step in the timeline when you consider all the powerful cosmic villains. He is the Power Stone. Whew, alright, hopefully nothing seems impossible at this point. If you're not convinced, then this might be the theory that hooks you in. YouTuber The Cosmic Wonder came up with this theory and needs the bulk of the credit. It's great, but the binger can't take the applause for the ingenious here. So take yourself back to the first Guardians of the Galaxy. The team is sitting in the Collector's room discussing the origin of the Infinity Stones. During the discussion, the Collector refers to the gem as remnants of space before the Big Bang. Bingo, that's the buzzword for this video. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a match. It's certainly possible that the remnant of a time before this known universe is actually Galactus and his power trapped inside the Power Stone. Let's look at some more contextual clues. First off, there's the color of the stone. It feels pretty obvious, but we're gonna state it anyways. They're both purple. It's weak, but hey, it makes sense. Also, the stone is described as devouring and destroying planets. Not many energies in space are known for that trait. It makes sense that the Power Stone might hold the powers of Galactus that helps the user devour worlds. Lastly, recall the fight between Thanos and Captain Marvel in Endgame. He needs to get her ungrappled. He doesn't reach for the Mind Stone or the Space Stone, they're too weak against her. He goes for the Power Stone. We need a villain stronger than Captain Marvel. The fact that Thanos uses the Power Stone to knock her down only feeds the fire. For all we know, the theory could keep going. Perhaps all the stones were a combination of Galactus' power. Destroying them all unleashed him back on the universe. It's certainly possible. Regardless, viewers didn't see Thanos destroy them. Matter cannot be created nor destroyed, it needs to go somewhere. All of it is likely drawn back into the sentience. However, it's plausible that the destruction ends up creating Galactus. He's either the Power Stone or he's all of them combined. We wouldn't count this theory out until we see the big bad World Eater finally make his resurrection in theaters. Till then, the possibility is out there. Fantastic Four variable. These last two theories we mention are more like plot lines helping justify Galactus' involvement as the main villain. Think of them as guiding support theories to back up the ideas we've tossed out there already. The first one involves the Fantastic Four entering the playing field. Fans of the team know that they're overdue a genuine film adaptation that doesn't ruin the source material. The team fights plenty of amazing bad guys, and that could be the glue that unites the next couple of phases together. The Fantastic Four would operate like the Avengers did in the first 3 phases. However, that means they need to find a way to cram their movie into a lineup that's already created. They need a standalone uniting movie just like the Avengers got. Many fans believe the Avengers 5 film leaked in the lineup is actually code for a Fantastic Four origin movie. After they've arrived, we predict they fight the Earth-based bad guy we're all familiar with, in most cases Doctor Doom in the next phase of films. Finally, we get the cinematic movie where the team comes together with all the other heroes created in the universe to stop the evildoer. For the first 3 phases, it was an Avenger villain, so they did Thanos. If we take this theory that the Avengers 5 film is actually a Fantastic Four film in disguise, then it's possible that the creative team is building towards using one of their main villains in the next phase, and a possible Phase 6. Yeah, we're looking way ahead with that prediction. In other words, imagine that Feige and his team are using the exact same 3-phase formula they already used to get to Endgame. The last couple movies involved a big bad guy that the main team needs to defeat. It's here that we would end up seeing Galactus, not in Phase 4. Under these guiding principles, the decision seems entirely too logical. Of course, we're sure it still leaves a lot of unanswered questions. The split villain hypothesis. The other side of this comes from a quote by Kevin Feige. To paraphrase, he basically hinted at the structure for the next couple phases of Marvel films. He clarified that the galactic heroes will face a foe equal to their power level, while the Earth-based heroes fight a more, well, down-to-earth battle. It's not the best word choice, but you get what we mean. Basically, the hero rosters and the villain rosters are divided into 2 settings. On the same hand, the galactic heroes will need to face a villain equal to their power level. Now, it's great in theory, but there's only one issue. Galactus can't be taken down by either team individually. It'd take the whole group to prevent his conquest. He isn't a one-sided villain, he's a threat to everyone. The Earth heroes can't stop him alone, and neither can the cosmic characters. The studio needs a threat like that to tie it all together. All signs point to Galactus. Well, we think that's the case anyways. Do you have any more thoughts on the matter? Let us know in the comments down below and follow The Binger to stay current on all of our latest content. It's as easy as clicking a link down below to stay subscribed and notified.